So this is lesson 9, video 2, identifying perpendicular lines. This is in direct connection to the last video on identifying parallel lines. So identify which lines are perpendicular. The first thing that you need to understand is that perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite, reciprocals. Okay? That means that you have to flip and negate or multiply by -1. That little symbol that I just drew stands for perpendicular. Although I'm not drawing it very well at this point in time. Oh, there we go. Okay. So again, the goal is, are their slopes opposite reciprocals? So again, we're going to go ahead and label x. I'm actually going to do a chart for this one because I think with a chart you'll be able to see it a little bit easier. So we get x is equal to -2. We'll label that a. So this is the equation, and then we'll write the slope next to it. B is y is equal to 1. C is y is equal to -4x plus 2. And D is y is equal to 1/4 x minus 1. Again, we want the slopes to be opposites and reciprocals. So the negative of the reciprocal, which means to flip it. So for this one, a, x equals to -2, the slope is undefined. You should also be able to understand that the graph for this is a horizontal line that goes through -2. Y equals to 1 has a slope of 0. And again, this graph is a horizontal line that goes through 1. Just by looking at these two things and understanding that x and y axes are considered perpendicular, you should very, very quickly understand that undefined and 0 are actually perpendicular. So these two are perpendicular from one another. The slope for this one is at -4 because, again, it's mx plus b, and m is the slope. And this one is 1/4. Well, if we flip and negate -4, we would end up with 1/4. And if we flip and negate 1/4, we would end up with -4. So, as you can tell, they do match each other. So these two are also perpendicular. So the two that are perpendicular are A and B, and C and D. Again, the goal is to verify that the slopes are opposite reciprocals. If you are not sure what that means, I suggest you Google search those words separately for mathematical terms. Okay, so here's your U-try. Identify which lines are perpendicular. Again, the goal is to try to verify whether or not the slopes are opposite reciprocals. I can only say that so many times. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Flip and negate. Opposite reciprocals. And that is the end of the second video. There's 2 more to go.